I invited John to talk to us at last year's festival, but he wanted to wait until he had something new to talk about. I asked him again to come to this year's festival, expecting the answer no. But I'm delighted to say that he has accepted, specifically to talk to us about the couture. Please welcome John Galliano. You'll be fine. Yeah. So we've made a big effort for John to feel at home, surrounded by his creations, and even your favourite peonies here. So I hope it's doing the trick. When, John, did you first realise you were interested in fashion, or was there never that moment? You were always so keen on fashion that you never had that moment.
I showed a natural talent for drawing. But really, I didn't discover fashion till much later on. I think it was I discovered my love of design through illustration. So I was already well into the course at St. Martin's around about 1983, and I graduated in 84. So that's really when I discovered that I loved creating.
But when you went to St. Martin's, were you not already keen on fashion, or not particularly?
Well, I applied to the foundation course to help me decide. I mean, I did have an artistic bent, yeah, I just didn't know what to specialise in. I didn't know much about it either. And so I went to Wilson's Grammar School for boys first, did all the boys' things, and then I went on to further education at college, City in East London, to study languages, Spanish and French, and there as a subsidiary was an art class. And it was there that I started to draw life studies. And my tutors there then encouraged me to prepare a folio to apply to St. Martin's, the foundation course.
Oh, that's amazing. I had no idea of that. So when you went to St. Martin's, what did you expect and hope of that experience, having moved there from where you'd been?
I mean, it met all my expectations and more. Sadly, I was surrounded by like-minded people and so creative. And, you know, I'd come from an all-boys school, so there was girls, there was boys, really cool people. And, yeah, started to let my hair down.
And you were able, presumably, sort of for the first time, to really let your imagination become the kind of dominant creative force in what you were doing.
It was really encouraged at that time. St. Martin's was like a traditional art school. So you were encouraged to move amongst in the film department with graphic artists, photography, sculpture department. It was very open. So you were encouraged to move around in those different fields, which I found a fantastic way to start.
Mm. And that was in the 80s, wasn't it? So actually you were in a time where there was sort of this incredible, vibrant sort of music, club, street style thing going on, which must have meant that actually as a young designer, there was a lot that you could take part in.
Yeah, and a lot of it happened in a club called Taboo in Leicester Square. And, but it is true, the spotlight was on London. The American buyers were coming to London. John Mabry was making incredible films. There was Boy George, David Holer, the Body Map crew. It was an incredibly creative period.
Sort of Blitz Kids.
Yeah, Taboo came a little bit after Blitz
Right.
Kids, but it was that crowd where we were very individual and we expressed ourselves, yeah.
And
Start
partied.
getting ready Tuesday night and
for Saturday.
For Thursday.
48 hair and makeup session.
There's never enough time.
Did you find that having that formal fashion education meant that you actually met people who were helpful to you? I mean, was that when you wanted to actually start your own label? Did that make a difference to you that you'd spent that time with people rather than trying to do it without St. Martin's?
St. Martin's was a great place to go to and to express my creativity. Today it's a very different school where they do prepare you a little bit. I mean, back then it was called a business game, and it was like, you know, the 2 last days of your degree, so I didn't go. Not many people did.
That was it for business, right?
Yeah, but I learned the hard way, though. I mean, I had to learn to swim. So I wouldn't say at that point it did prepare me for the business side of things, but I had to learn very quickly. I mean, I was in business. I mean, I graduated and then
And you went straight into?
Yeah, thanks to Mrs. Burstein from Brown's. I mean, I graduated, and the next day I wheeled my collection up to South Morton Street, where she invited me there, and we created a window together, and then my first client was Diana Ross.
No. Yeah. Oh, that was pretty cool, I must say.
She bought one of the Incroyable coats. Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did you ever see her wear it?
Yeah, I did. And then many, many years later, I was at a party, and she was performing, and she brought it up. She remembers.
I never think of sort of Diana Ross as a kind of Galliano girl somehow.
Yeah, she wore an Incroyable coat. Yeah.
So cool. And to some really quite large extent, your vision of a fashion show has sort of redefined the idea of fashion shows. I mean, I think you really were, if not the first person, definitely one of the first people that made the show such a spectacle rather than literally a kind of moving sales room. How much do you feel that the dramatic is essential in a show?
Well, today I think a little bit of theatre goes a long way. Back then I was obsessed. I just thought it was the perfect backdrop, the foil for the girls I was working with, and you know, we'd give them a narrative, a story, they'd understand what they were wearing. Sometimes they'd never worn clothes like that, so to spend time with the girls in front of the mirror with a character.
Yeah, and they love to be told, you know, you are this wounded swan.
The direction, yes, and it brought the clothes to life. And you could see the details, you could hear the rustle of silk. It gave them a command of volume and space, which sometimes you don't get with the just kind of straight walking up and down.
And nowadays, of course, with the Instagram, which I suspect you don't do, but the, you know, the sort of social media thing. I noticed, for instance, at the last set of collections that, you know, so many shows were really designed around that idea that everybody was going to be taking the photograph, and so everyone was sort of, it wasn't just about the clothes, it was about a backdrop or something with that visual. Do you think, how are you going to deal with that feeling of the social media interpretation of shows?
From the point of view of a show, I mean, it was quite amusing because when I saw the video, I couldn't see the clothes because, you know, I've been out for 4 years, and then I saw the playback of the show and everyone's holding an iPad up or a phone. You're like, what? That wasn't there the last time I was doing a show. So yeah, definitely change the camera angle, slightly higher maybe. I embrace it. I embrace it when I can.
Yes.
I think it's important to have a balance, as with everything.
As with everything. When I saw John and we were talking about, way before this, I was so inspired by what he talked about with kind of fabric, and when he holds fabric, he knows so much what he's doing with it. So with this, I'm so worried I'm going to fall off the stage. With this incredible outfit here. I mean, how did this start, John? This incredible rococo. It was wonderful with the mother and child, and then...
Well, this was the wedding dress at the end of the collection, and I had tried to... I spent a lot of time trying to understand the work of Martin. But I didn't want to just recreate it. I kind of wanted to move on as well. So this was inspired by Martin, but it's not taken from one of his. It was actually a skirt he'd done where he'd pulled the lining out, split it down the seam, the centre front, and put it on as a halter neck. So I started to think and think and think, and I love, it's actually a man's coat you're looking at.
Oh, where is that?
Does she tie?
Well, she might, if you want to take responsibility.
Tell you what, you come this way.
Okay. Thrilled.
So, well, can you see? It's actually a man's coat. And then getting into Martin's work, I cut the back of the lining. So when you do that, you'll see a cut in there. And this is actually all the lining of the coat, which I then draped.
So it's like an incredible highwayman's kind of wedding coat. And then here?
Well, this kind of symbolized my return to couture, the marriage of JG and Martin Margiela. It symbolizes many things. Things that I'd been collecting over the last 4 years from flea markets, things that I kind of loved, and maybe before, not being in the moment, hadn't really noticed their beauty. And trying to give them another life, a new life.
There's a baby here for anyone.
There's a baby, that little icon. There's real 40s and 30s jewelry that I use that I'd been collecting. This is really good costume jewelry. It's the real thing. You can hardly find that anymore.
But something like this, presumably, I mean, it is a one-off piece. You're not going to be able to recreate this for anybody else. This exists really like a sculpture or a piece of art, doesn't it? I mean, you will be able to recreate that, the part with the coat and the fabric, but not this whole thing.
It would be a one of a kind. But as well as dressing the fabulous ladies that come to us for couture at Maison Margiela, today the artisanal serves another purpose as well, which when I first went to Maison Margiela, I decided to concentrate. I wanted to know what it felt like to wear Margiela today, because Martin had not been there for some time. The team had done an incredible job, of course, as you know, the products. So I spent a lot of time trying to understand how it would feel to wear Margiela today, and this was all part of the process. And to establish a recognizable DNA for today, like Dior's hip jacket or Chanel's camellia. So I really wanted to play with this idea of the lining, which then inspired that little thing over there, excuse me, which we showed in the ready-to-wear. It was quite a funky...
Which is wonderful, this.
Caban, and then taken that lining into a more wearable. It's the lining of the coat.
It's amazing. So that's a proper way of developing, isn't it, from couture, that you started that and then you moved it into the ready-wear.
And what it means is that you can wear a slip dress or a top, and you can just throw your jacket back. You don't have to wear the jacket all day. So that, I hope, will be established in people's psyche, and they'll recognize Margiela from 50 meters away.
And over here...
seashells.
Yes, yes. I'm just really intrigued about this kind of breastplate, because presumably a lot of this is the artisanal idea, is things that you've found.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that one has found these pieces and added them.
Well, I started to collect seashells, and really admire them, their beauty. And then I was inspired by Archambault, the artist, and recreated these quite grotesque faces. But this was my offer of embroidery today. Why not? It's recycled, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm giving it another life. So there's some seashells I collected in Los Angeles, in Normandy. My assistant's mother was cooking a lot of mussels, and we used those as well. And then I wanted to obliterate any sense of what it came from, which is why we've done this almost like Jeff Koons finish on it. This collection was called Intentions, so it was my proposal of the kind of embroidery I would do at Maison Margiela. Here's another thing that I wanted to establish. Was this almost like trompe l'oeil? It's like slim sleeve with this almost 18th century cuff, but it's part of the pocket. So you just get that look, but it's very practical. You can just go around your everyday life in a beautiful red coat. Mm. Seashells on the front.
I read the other day that Ray Karakubo had said about red being the most dangerous colour. What do you feel about red, having used it very much in this?
With this collection, because time was limited, which was a great thing in a way. It helped me reevaluated colour and how I wanted to use colour. So there was black, and then there was the colour of the Stockman, that Hessian colour that you see on the wooden poupées. And then the red I used more as a ray of light. I used the red as a shaft of light. Yes, it's dominant and all those other things, you're absolutely right. But in this collection, I used it as a light.
And just while we're standing up here, this incredible toile, yes?
Well, for quite
Talk us through this.
Well, it's the same dress as the wedding dress, but it's, shall we call it work in progress? It's the toiles, and we produced many toiles even to get to this stage, and I just thought it would be really cool and very Maison Margiela to actually show the toiles. So you saw the whole collection first, and then I sent the girls out in the same outfits at a frozen moment of creation. And some of them have got like post-its and numbers, and I wanted Indian takeaway that night, and all sorts of things that show that creative process. I just thought it was very honest.
Toiles that are so intricate, though, because a toile one thinks of as something really quite simple that you then make into the ornate thing. But these are
There was a lot to work
out. There's a lot to work out.
There was a lot to work out. And I love the painting, the white, because that all... Yeah, that's
it's so fragile.
Some numbers on it. Yeah.
And shall we sit down again, please? So from that first couture collection, and having had now, I forget how long it is, but not terribly long to think about.
I've only been there 6 months, I think.
Yeah, well, very, very little time then to think about it. What have you identified as sort of some key qualities that you feel your Margiela will be?
I love the place where I'm working. It has an amazing soul.
In that incredible house.
Yes, yeah. It used to be a convent, and then it's converted to an industrial design school, and now we're there. It has an amazing soul, and I love exploring the original DNA that Martin laid down. I also had the amazing good fortune to meet Martin, which was an amazing experience, I'll just say that much, but really energized me, and I felt really good there, yeah.
And how much time are you actually spending there? Do you go there every day, or?
I do, because it's early days, but I love being there. I do get some phone calls to remind me to leave in the evening. Balance. Yeah, I mean, it's early days, so I work in
pyramidical way where I'm trying to establish certain things with the artisanal. We could say it's the parfum of the industry, which then informs and inspires the ready-to-wear, which would be the eau de toilette, and then the accessories, the shoes, the bags, etc., etc. But it's there where I have the time and resources to establish a line and a fashion direction, but then the whole house can be inspired by it.
I mean, obviously you're used, after having been at Givenchy and Dior, to taking on houses that had a, you know, an identifiable designer, and actually, of course, they were people who physically one had an image of, which you don't with Martin Margiela. But is that something, I mean, do you feel quite comfortable about that this time around?
This time around, I do, because also I had decided that although one must respect the DNA of the house and the heritage, I didn't want to become a slave to it, which is what happened at Dior. I kind of pushed myself in a corner and it was all about the bar jacket, and or even at Galliano, it was all about the buyer's cut. I did actually do a lot of other things. So this time I set out intentionally to rectify that, which I think is important. It's important to understand the DNA, but also to move on. I think people want new.
Yeah, because the ready-to-wear, you know, show is sort of wonderful. I mean, you had things that, of course, you could see what was Margiela about it, but also there were bits that you just felt were just completely new, but they related. It wasn't out of place, but they were different. And you're right. The danger is you get sort of hampered by pastiche, isn't it?
You can do, yeah.
And when you're doing couture and you're doing actually a dress for somebody, you know, a client, somebody that is going to wear it, I mean, do you enjoy the process of actually working with them, that sort of like alters your...
Very much so. Yeah, I love a wedding dress. And working with actresses is amazing too, because they bring so much creativity to the session, if you like. Yeah, and sometimes it's very amusing, very amusing.
And they probably give you ideas sometimes.
Oh, a lot.
Of things you could do that you haven't.
Especially some of the very grand ladies I dressed in Paris, and they would tell me the certain underwear that they wore under the buyer's cut dresses and how they would do the suspenders. It was never done on the outside, but on the inside.
Oh.
Yes, so you never had a line. So little things like that, these ladies would just tell you. I mean, I would just laugh it up. You can't read about those things. You can't read about those things. Great ladies.
Martin Margiela, you know, has made sort of the part of his identity, I suppose, being invisible in a way. And over the years, you've been one of the most visible designers. How visible do you think you're going to be in this new role? Are you going to take on any of his kind of invisible man element?
It's very interesting, the invisible man element. And, you know, I'm just going to take it day by day. I did make an appearance in London when we presented my Intentions collection. But really, I wanted to thank everyone for their support, everyone that had come to see the show. And thank you.
But you've
And
kept
then
the
for the
white
ready-to-wear,
you disappeared, didn't you?
Well, I wanted to put the spotlight back on the clothes. You know,
absolutely.
That's what I had decided to do anyway in the 4 years that I've been out. And it's part of the DNA of the house. So it just felt really comfortable to be able to work like that and to really put the focus back on the clothes and away from the other thing.
Are you going to keep the white coat?
The white
I know
coat,
you did have a white coat here. I suggested you didn't wear it.
I did bring it. I was going to wear it. It's great, the white coat. I mean, couturiers have worn it for many, many years. Christopher Balenciaga, Yves Saint Laurent.
And do you think that's that thing whereby it removes any concern about your own clothes, a white coat, that it sort of gives you a tabula rasa.
It does that. It cleanses, well, especially when you're in a fitting. I mean, I work with some quite funky people, and the way they turn up to work, sometimes you can't concentrate on the 12, so that helps. But another thing that happens is that you really notice their faces and what they're saying, and they express themselves through their shoes. The kids, the students love it because they say, oh, everyone's so nice to us, because no one knows who's who. If you're a CEO or commercial director or attaché de presse, everyone's treated very respectfully because of the white coat. And I wear it all the time.
What do you feel is the future of haute couture?
I tried to explain earlier the importance of haute couture, artisanal, in that it inspires and informs all the other lines. We need creativity to move forward, because without creativity, we just go nowhere. And that turns into a business, a big business, which I have proved.
Could you please tell us more on the creative process of designing Kate Moss's wedding dress, which was recently on display at the V&A Museum and is absolutely breathtaking? Was Kate involved in that? I imagine she was. She's got very strong opinions.
Are we being recorded?
No. Oh, yes, we are. Filmed.
I mean, it was just the most magical experience to work with Kate on this dress, and it was all done very undercover and very in secret, and we did it at friends' houses, and she'd come over to Paris or I'd come over to the country, and we did keep it secret for ages. It was just the most magical. I mean, you know Kate, I mean,
you must have had a lot of fun doing it.
So much fun. I mean, there was about 20 dresses, because we just didn't stop. We're in front of the mirror and draping fabric, and she'd pull one away. And it was just the most... and at the time that I was doing it, I was just reconnecting to all those... I didn't know those emotions. They'd kind of been put on the side for a while. So Kate is amazing. She's an amazing person and an amazing friend. Who has stuck by me. And I mean, I can't imagine any other bride who would ask someone who'd just come out of rehab to do their dress and be patient. I was kind of lost in the countryside.
Well, she did look ravishing in it,
Thank you.
but she could look ravishing in a bin bag, it has to be said.
We tried that as well. We did try that.
Okay, history has always played such a fundamental part in your couture collections, not only at Dior, but now also at Margiela. If you could travel back to one moment in history, when would that be and why?
I guess the French Revolution, not for the gory bits, but just for the coats, the swag, and the buttons and the furbelows and bows, and racing across cobblestones, and the Frisian caps and tricolor, the colour, the style.
So, yeah, just so long as you weren't one of the ones being marched up to the guillotine, yes?
Or knitting.
Well, you could be a tricker. You could be, what were they called? A tricoteurs. Exactly. Do you spend any time in London? I know you visit, but...
I pop over, yeah.
Do you think that you'll spend more time in London now with the Margiela, just sort of because, I don't know, to get the vibe?
We'll see how it I mean, at the beginning, I thought that it would be great to set up a design studio here to just, for me to reconnect with the energy in London and my roots and Martin's roots, but because of a question of timing and contracts, it had to happen in Paris, and it happened quite fast. But who knows for the future?
Because we think of you as a London, you notice we always claim you as a London designer.
Well, so I've never felt any different, yeah.
What do you think is the most necessary quality for an aspiring fashion designer? This is from the audience.
Passion. I think you have to be passionate about this trade. You have to be passionate and have strong belief in yourself, and surround yourself with really strong people at the beginning. That's really important, I think. But also I've learned to say no. It's such a little word, N-O, and I was so afraid to say it before because I thought I would appear weak. But now I realize it's actually a sign of strength. So please, just say no. Only take on what you feel you can do really well and do it to your maximum. Fuck the rest.